So today we're gonna do Alana and Ekamati. Alana will present chapter 6 and 7, and Ekamati will present chapter 8 and 9. So each of you can take 15 up to 15 minutes, and probably 20 if you want to. I'll just do 1 minute kirtan and then you can start. Namaskar. Okay, Alana, please go ahead.
Hi everyone. So the first, well, it's the third actually language of love, and it's calling receiving gifts. And at one point it might be seems very materialistic, but the gift could be a different kind of way. It could be small, it could be big, it could be cheap, it could be expensive, or it could be came from the store or from made by hands, right? And so it was a few stories about receiving gifts, and the author was going on an island to do some sort of like searching about. So I don't really remember. He was saying about some sort of island. And the person which he met, long story short, he was a fisherman and he lost his arms because of he used dynamite while he was fishing, but it wasn't the point. So when they met, when the author came to his house, that guy, he asked like, do you want to get juice? And author accepted. And so and that guy, Fred, he sent his younger brother to get coconut from the palm. And it was, as author said, it was green and it was not ready to drink, but it was a gift from love. That means you can see as a gift like everything which you received, right? So the most important thing about receiving gifts, it's the process when you choosing what kind of thing that person like, what that person want, and like literally it is a time which you spend to trying to guess like what that person prefer to get as a gift. And sometimes for that person who has that mind language is receiving gifts, the time which another person spent for to giving that gift, it's more important. And also author says like you should think about the gifts is investment into relationship, and it should be consistent. Like especially for that person who has that kind of love language is a minor. Okay, what else? So what else? It was a story about like when the couple after marriage, one of those couple stop receiving gifts and it feels like emotional abandoned. And also it was mentioned like it might be not physical gift. It could be a gift of presence, like being with that person, spending the time. And there is the question, like, what's the difference between giving your time to that person, like as a gift, and quality of time? That was my question. So I'm really interested to hear a next person. So, and it was a story about the husband lost his mom, and the wife was asking her job manager to get extra day off, a few days off, to support her husband. And that manager told, no, you cannot do it. And so she chose. Oh, and also manager said, like, if you stay at home, you're probably gonna get fired. So she made a decision and she stays with her husband. And then it was the story told like that manager lost his opportunity at the job and she got his place. But I mean, the important point of that story, that for a person who prefer to have you as a support and to have your presence as a gift, it's very important to have that gift. So that's all my story about receiving gifts. And the next chapter and the next language of love, it's act of service. And by meaning that it might be any kind of things. And those whole things, it's when you literally search for another person, it could be help at the house, some sort of, I mean, any kind of help, cooking, doing grocery, taking care of garden or whatever. And so, and at that point, it's very important, even those people, I mean, if we're talking about couples or husband and wife, if they have the same language, it could be a different dialect because it all came from families, from experience which you had like as a child. Like for some families, it's, I don't know, normal to, like, for example, if, well, the story was, it's literally like all those stories like about couples, they are super long, right? And so if like like it's make it short, his parents, the roles between the parents, it was his mom were cooking and keeping house clean and good looking, and his father was going a job to do work and like keeping garden and outside things in a good way. And yeah, that's, I'm sorry, it will be a super long story if I keep going. But there is a three observation after which author got after that story. So the first one was what we do for each other before marriage. It's not education what will we do after, like yeah, it will be too long. The second one, love is a choice and it cannot be forced. So each of us must decide daily to love or not to love our spouse. The third one, only mature love will be able to hear another opinion of the person. And another thing which very important, it's overcoming stereotypes, because all our stereotypes it's coming from, again, our family, from the environment where we were grow. Yeah, so, and also that I checked, this book was written in 1992, so it's already 32 years old. Yeah, so it's already like we have right now a kind of different situation. Yeah, so that's all what I have right now.
Okay, beautiful, Alana. Thank you. Guys, any questions, comments to Alana? Ekamati, you know, you wanted to say something.
Uh, Thank you, Alana. It was really a nice explanation of the book context. And I believe you covered not only the context of 6th and 7th chapters, but also 9 and 10th, right? Because
That's the thing, like we are, like as a human, we are super complicated. We like, I really don't believe like we have just one language. Like it's all like changing, right? We're not the same as we were yesterday. We're not the same as we'll be tomorrow. So it's, you cannot say like, oh, there is a 5 of them and each one, like every person have to have just one, the mine. Yeah, so it's all like,
yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's really hard to recognize your primary love language, right? Because you know,
it
some
could
of
be.
them, or maybe even all of them, sounds very familiar to you, right? So, because yeah.
Yeah, interesting that maybe one language is primary one, because I have a friend with a gift language,
Mhm.
and I always, for any occasion coming, I try to give her something material, something small. For example, for Christmas toy or something, and she's super happy. She's super happy with it, you know. It's interesting because my language is my primary language is what is it? Helping. You said
Acts of service.
act of
Yeah.
service. So for me personally, it's very important. And if I ask for help, my husband knows this is my language. and I, you know, and if he said no, it's very painful for me. Very painful. You know, it's like very painful, you know. And he knows, and he never say no. He always trying to help and do his best. Yeah, and for example, gift is not my language at all. So maybe it's weird, but me and my husband, we never give for holidays gift each other because I don't care at all. I can buy when I need something, I can buy it, and I don't like things that I don't need, you know. And he doesn't bring me gifts, material gift, and and it's not his language also. So we're fine with it, absolutely. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, but you have a good communication, and that's about a mature lover.
Yeah.
Okay, you asked a question, Alana, which was quite a good question. So maybe you wanted to ask. I put it on chat. Maybe you wanted to address it to somebody.
What kind of question?
What is more important, giving quality time to someone or just your time? Is that what was your question? I thought that you wanted to ask somebody this question. No, it's okay.
No, my question was like, it was about receiving gifts and like you giving as a gift your presence. And that was for me sound like quality of time, like very kind of like the gift, the material gifts, it goes to spend the time with that person. That was my like not a question, but that's why I'm saying I'm very curious to listen another speaker who gonna tell about quality of time.
And I think we quite have that speaker. We have Ekamati, so we can invite her to share with us. Let's not waste our time. And thank you, Alana. It was a very insightful presentation. And I think if you guys have questions, comments to Alana, to whatever, to those languages of love, 3 and 4, receiving and giving, I think you're more than welcome to share. I just wanted to say a little bit of things just about this book. You are absolutely right. I think human beings are way more complicated complex in a positive way than just, the 5 languages of love. But it's good for us to start at least becoming aware of those
Pay
basic.
attention, yes.
Yeah, you're right. By basic things. But of course, it's for popular audience, and you're very right to notice that it was written in 1992. So I'm very glad that you're critical and open to those perspectives. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, let me continue then this topic about this book. I also find it really interesting to answer the question while reading the book. What is my primary of language? And that in the chapter number 9, author gave us some advice as how to determine to recognize your primary love language, because sometimes and it comes from his practice as well. People can't recognize what is their primary love language, because they can say something like, I really love the gifts, and the quality time makes me happy, and I also like physical touch, and so on. So how does we can recognize our primary love language? First of all, author recommended to observe your own behavior. So what do you usually do if you want to express your positive attitude or your love to someone you care about? Whether you give him or her a gift, or maybe you invite him or her to spend some time together for like a movie night, or board games evening, or stuff like that, something to do together, or you just offer help, or offer him or her help, or something like that. So because your own pattern of expression, nature way of expression, your love, your positive attitude to others, it might be your primary love language, but it's not 100% 100% true, because very often the way how we express our positive attitude or love to others comes from the past, from our childhood. So how it was, for example, if we are rising in a growing up in a family where family members to support each other, just kisses and hugs each other, and give and take hands of each other, just to demonstrate the love and care. You probably will express the same behavior in your adult life as well. But it might be not your primary love language. It's just the way which you copy from your parents' family. But it is important as well, just to understand that. The second way how you can define your primary love language is observe what you request of others. So if you want to become closer to someone, to someone, what do you usually request from them? Do you ask them for help, or do you expect that they give you some gifts, some presents, or maybe you just ask them to speak with you or to listen to you about your emotions, about your situations, or something like that. So what do you usually request from others? Well, and the third way how we can understand our love language is from the observation of what we are usually complaints about, right? For example, many people often complains their partners, you never spend enough time with me, or you never help me with household chores, you never go with me to my parents, or stuff like that. So what specifically hurts you the most if your partner avoid to do, or otherwise do something that hurt you most? So understanding of that may give you an answer what is your primary love language. So, and yes, it is really helpful to ask the right questions for yourself, and to find an answers for these questions inside your soul, right? So, what, for example, what do I like most about my spouse or about my partner? What does he or she do that makes me desire to be with him, right, or with her? What is exactly his or her acts of service? How does he or she helps me? Or whether it's small gifts which he always bring to me, or maybe just our soul talks, yeah, when we share anything about everything and talk about everything to each other. So what is exactly, and what if you do not have such experience in your current life, maybe you can imagine what would be an ideal partner for you. What should he or she do to makes you desire to be with him, with her? Yeah. So this is also very important questions to ask yourself about and to find the right answer. But it's really maybe not so as I think, it may be not so important to recognize you're the only one primary love language. The the most important insight from this book, personally for me, is the understanding that the love, it's usually is a conscious choice which you make in your life, and this choice you made does require some efforts you you want to do, and these efforts you apply without expecting anything back, but it is 100% true then when you start to express these efforts, demonstrate your love, it's never left on without response, right? Sorry. It's never been remain without attention, right? Because we are human beings, we are very responsive to any expression of love, even if it's not our primary love language, right? Yeah. So, and you know, maybe the second important thing here is, you know, to be able to make these efforts to demonstrate your love to someone, to show it. You first you have to feel that your love tank full. And love tank, we mentioned last time, yeah, about this meaning, which after using this book is your inner feeling of fullness of love, right? So you need to feel that your love tank is full. And the second, you have to be willing to make a conscious efforts to demonstrate it, because many people say that, oh, what if her or his primary love language is really unnatural to me. Let's say I'm growing up in a family where when the gifts to each other was not valued a lot. Actually, we never give someone give something to each other. How can I start to do it right now? But after said that, if you try to do it and you will apply these efforts again and again, after 100 times it becomes natural to you. So it's just a matter of conscious efforts which you are willing to apply. So that's all. Well, okay. And finally, yeah, it's probably all ideas I would like to share with you from this book. And finally, I found that, you know, his book and his ideas about love languages are really correspond with you know, yama philosophy, because actually all these love languages they do correspond with some basic principles, right? Like satya, when you try to express your thoughts and words in a positive way, and for sure with ahimsa, when you avoid to hurt someone by word or action or even thought, and so on. So that's why I think that this book is really reflects somehow the philosophy of yama yama. Okay, this is where I should stop. and guys, I really encourage you to share your ideas and maybe your examples. How do you determine your primary love language and love language of your partner or spouse or children or parents and so on? Your mom?
Yeah, think about it. Thank you for the presentation, Ekamati. Very good. Also, think about it as a yoga teachers, as pracharakas, people who want to teach spirituality. You have to kind of understand what is important for another person. So it's always, well, not only about the person, about you. So what are your primary languages? Let's go around and share. Actually, let's get it more engaging because people are starting to sleep or getting off. We have 19 more minutes. Let's do it. So just share, what's your primary language, do you think? And what's your secondary language? I think that for me, I just want to start because I'm already talking. I think I really like acts of service as the first one. So when an act of service, I think can be even verbal, doesn't have to be physical. But I think the most important thing was somebody just gives something without want for something back. That just kind of makes me go, wow, you are like a god. You are just absolutely demonstrating nature that is absolutely astonishing to me. And I think secondary language of love for me, quality time. I really like quality time, like being present, being in the moment and doing something. That is it. Okay,
Okay,
please
I can
unmute yourself and go ahead.
continue then. So, as far as me concerned, I value the most the quality time, specifically the time of doing something together. So, and different variations of the quality time, right? Like active listening, and sometimes I just need that. My friend or my partner just sit with me and be all his ears, just listening to me and and active listening to me to understand my feelings and so on. So I value that with the most. And secondly, love language probably. I think it's I don't know, maybe I don't know, quality time. Number one and number two choice. Who's next? Rakesh, use next.
Okay, how about
Next.
whoever speaks, choose the next person, so it's more concise.
Is it me? All right, I'll go next.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it throughout my life, I'm just thinking of different situations. It has varied. I think most of the time, seeing someone put in the effort always meant a lot, but that is not what made me love someone, you know? Because even within, I think five love language is great because it does provide sort of options or even practical steps if you're trying to create more love in a relationship that has sort of become a little distant. So then even another question comes, does unconditional love exist in a intimate romantic type of relationship? Because I think it is possible to love somebody when there might not be explicit displays of love. But yeah, so this is something I've just been reflecting on as well. But then, I'm looking at myself and a relationship, let's say, void of physical touch or even quality time, that would be detrimental to the relationship, I think. So primary love language would be, I think, physical touch, secondary, quality time. But it did bring up a lot of questions, and the chapter I'm presenting, yeah, I think is well, I mean, I'll touch upon it in the future when I present it. I think it touches upon a lot of the aspects of the Ananda Marga philosophy. You know, love is everywhere, and just in a nutshell, you know, are you able to love somebody you hate? You know, is it possible to love somebody that you have not just grown distant, but you actually feel like you hate them? You know, but then sort of inspiring these feelings of not just giving, because love, I feel like, is like an unselfish type of emotion. It's sort of like emitting that energy where it's more about the other person as opposed to yourself, type of thing. Sorry, I feel like my thoughts were very disorganized there. Just rambling a confused thought process. But yeah, that's it for me.
I think that's a very interesting reflection on your end, Japesh. In Russian, I think there is this quote, there is this idiom that we use. It's called, probably in English you have it. It says, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies even closer. It's a different, it's a different context. It's a different context. It's very, I think it's quite, maybe Chinese in its sense. It's very Asian. It's like very Eastern philosophy kind of thing about this quote. Because, well, I don't want to interpret it, but I think you understand. Because with both, there is in Buddhism, I think the central concept is compassion, and it's based on understanding. So even if the person, if you hate someone, then there is something there with your ego. They're like really kind of really helping you to feel, how do you say, they help you to defeat your own ego, or they point to some mistake or some imperfection in you. So pretty much in Tantra, as far as I understand, we're not supposed to hate anyone. At least not to be guided by this feeling of hate.
Yeah, it's really interesting that the solution, you know, not necessarily just learning the other person's primary love language, but it's almost like you shift the perspective where it's no longer about you. You know, what's this person doing for me? It's almost like to overcome that hate, you start to look at the other person. It's almost like, what can I give to the other person? What can I do to make them happy? And then it inevitably inspires that within the other person too. You know, so it's very, very yeah, even keeping you know, friends close, enemies closer. I could see that even with you know, these emotions that we sort of try to distance ourselves from, these painful negative emotions. But you know, I've learned even within, let's say, certain Buddhist approaches to dealing with these things, you become friends with them. You keep them very close, and then it's almost like it's like the like dangerous animal. You know what I mean? Like you become very friendly with them, and they become sort of your not your pet, but you no longer fear them. You know, you sort of learn how to not just tame it, but you literally become their friend, where they don't have that sort of negative power over you to generate feelings of fear. Yeah, I don't know how I got to that, but
Yeah, this book may be more for couples, you know, when you live with someone, and not only for couples, but you know, to understand better. For example, why, what, like Elena said, what I do to express my appreciation for someone, you know. And sometimes we like do what we think we like we feel for ourselves, but you know, it's even not, it's happening like not even consciously, you know, it's itself coming up. For example, I remember I wash dishes, and I had friends over, and one lady come and say, "Can I help you?" You know, and in other words, it was for me as my primary language act of service. It was "I love you." She said, "Can I help you?" And it's not because it's just automatically, you know. And so when I do something, if I want to express, for example, I came to retreat, and I really love it, you know, and I'm helping because it's my love language. I'm helping all the time because this is my language. I want to say I love you, you know, love this place, love these people. I really appreciate what they're doing for us. For example, if my language would be touch, what is it? Touch. Yeah, physical touch. It's called physical touch. So I would, you know, I would come for people and hug everybody, you know, like hold the hand or something. It's not, and you know, and Baba, I remember Dada, who it was, Dada Satyamitrananda, he said, Baba always kept around people, like weird people, you know, who is making problems. And he one day I remember he said a story about Baba. There was one person who made problems all the time, and one acharya came. He said he made a problem. Another came. This guy made a problem, and a lot of people came to him, and Baba said, "Okay, let's get together, everybody." And he said, "Okay, tell what's going on." And people starting to tell him he did this, and he did those, and he did this. And Baba look at him and say, "Did you do it?" I told him, "No, Baba, no, I did not." And Baba started punishment all those people, you know, because without, so it's not like enemy, and we cannot like get emotion, because when we learn through these people who makes problem, we learn something. Without it, it wouldn't possible. We could not grow without it. So it's basically our enemies. This is our teachers, right? Without it, it's not possible to grow. If everything fine, if like if I don't need it. My ego is not. It's very comfortable, you know. When there is nothing happening, and I don't grow at all. Something should happen in our life to make us like
Grow.
Make us humble.
Yeah, I don't. My vocabulary is poor because I don't have much practice. So
But
I say like what I can. You know, I do what I can.
Your emotional range is very impressive, though. Okay,
So
so
Jipesh, you tell who is next, telling about his own language, love language.
Okay. Not picking on anyone. It's just going to the right. Marina.
Okay, so my primary love language, I think, is physical touch, and I connect it to I think just the patterns that we have. For example, from the childhood, if we don't get enough of something, we maybe want to get it in the future, or if we notice some other expressions of love, we try to mimic it in the future as well. But I think the more we become, the more we grow, the more we become complete, and we can appreciate each expression, and each one is can be important to the same extent, but still there is one that is the most important, at least for me. So for me, it's physical touch, and the second one is acts of service.
Great, thank you for sharing.
Marina, you say who is next?
Alana.
I would say the first one, it will be quality of time. The second one will be words of affirmation, because we all sometimes need like a life coach, right? And it's super nice to have somebody who can give you those kind of affirmation to keep going. And it's again, like, I feel it's switching, like every time it's not the same, like, because I mean, who like to get gifts for birthday? Like, you pretty know what it could be from your friends, like what you can get, right? And it's kind of like mystery and interesting too. So, and I feel like it's even your primary language, it could change, because again, we are changing constantly. Like, year ago, we wasn't the same. Yeah, so that's my point. But right now, it's quality of time, that's for sure. Okay, and next one will be Padma.
Hey guys, thank you for sharing today. And sorry, I missed the first part because I was at work, actually, kind of in a situation. But I'm sorry. Love languages. I think, as Marina said, I think if you didn't have much of something in early childhood, then you kind of become obsessed with that a little bit, or crave for it a little bit. So I think for me, it was, words of affirmation, and also physical touch. I think those two are important for me. I think, as you also said, words of affirmation, that encouragement, just a little, because I'm fiercely independent. Actually, I'm a very independent person. And I also do a lot of things for other people, and I'm involved in a lot of things. So, so giving comes to me very naturally. So, and I felt like all my life, that's all I did most of the time, just give and take care of other people. Somewhere, but in my heart, that want to hear good words, or feel touched or given a hug, just remained there. So I think for me, those things are important. I mean, everything is important. All languages are important. And I think there are many more languages that aren't written in that book. But primarily for me, words of affirmation, physical touch. Thank you, guys.
You're doing great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is anyone else left? You choose Padma.
Dada Shananda, are you here? She is not, probably.
Yeah. Did Aditya speak? Yeah. Aditya, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I guess I'm the next one.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Namaskar, guys. For me, it is acts of service and quality time together. These are the primary two. But as any human, of course, I'm open and appreciate any other ones because the other person may not speak my preference, right? That works for everybody. The other person may not speak your preferred love languages. So they definitely will speak their preferred love languages, and that's the situation where we have to communicate and adjust, oftentimes. And yeah, I've seen that in my life, and I've observed that in other people's lives. That's how it works. People are not always ready and willing to switch to other people's love languages and communication patterns as well. Some prefer one communication pattern, others prefer the other. Takes time to adjust and willingness to adjust as well. That's all I have to say at this point. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Hey, if we have a minute or two, would anybody dare or would feel comfortable to share their experience with, like Aditya said, sometimes people may not be willing to accept someone else, the opposite person's love language, or willing to change to that. Has anybody has any experiences with that you told your partner or spouse that, hey, you know what, this is not what I want, that's what I want? And what was their response like to that? Did it go well, that situation? Speak only if you're comfortable.
Yeah, maybe can I open it up to not like spouses, but maybe children, to students, to colleagues? But
Sure.
of course, these are more, yeah, intimate or personal, types.
Yeah, it's it's like it's happening automatically. So, for example, my husband's language, love language, is words of affirmation. So, but it's not my language, and I always forgot about it. So that's why we read the book, because no, I mean, that's good to know these languages, because now I know, and I kind of, this is my choice. I can remind myself and tell good things, and to make person feel good, feel happy. And the same with kids, because that's true. That's true. Aditya said that we speak our own languages. That's why good to know these 5 other languages, because it's happening automatically. We don't think about it. It's happening.
Tejashri, my love language is, words of affection, affirmation. So I end up praising my husband and being very complimentary to my husband and children. I have 2 boys, so all men, of course, who don't really much care for compliments, I guess. And they're like, I think I overload them. Sometimes they're like, okay, enough, we got it. So, hey, yeah.
Yeah. Very good, very good sharing. Lots of details. I love this discussion. These stories are all very relevant. We are a little bit over time, so I want to close it today. Maybe I want to share this quote here to end it on a spiritual note. Vandara shared it with me today. So this is by Sri Shanandamurti. So this is the definition of spiritual love: that whereby one's own identity is lost, whereby intense mamata, minus, is imprinted on the mind, and which causes a bhava, mental stance or attitude, that is soft and pleasing to the soul, is called prema by scholars or wise people. So this is a spiritual meaning. So in other words, the ideal of what we're trying to achieve with all kinds of relationships with students, with ourselves, is relationship with the Supreme. You know, we are trying to see everything with oneness. Those who get personal lessons in Ananda Marga understand that the idea is to constantly be in touch with the Supreme. So we are getting. Some people do not quite under do not appreciate it, but with time, with some spiritual practice, and with more experience, I guess, first-hand spiritual experience, they understand that whoever I speak with, like you right now, like I see Tejashi, I see Padma, Marina, Alana, Aditya, Dada, Shwananda. Essentially, I'm always constantly ideating on on the Supreme, on Baba, on God. So the same divine entity. So this is the ideal, but of course, being practical human beings, we live in the world and we have to understand and be attentive and listen to what others are like because everybody is different, but at the same time, everyone is the same. This is the paradox, and yeah, we have to live and deal with it. So let's close today, I suggest. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, to next time, Tejoshi and Japesh will present chapters 10 to 13 and we'll close this book and move on to the next one by Dr. Miller. Before we go into, I think, Yama Niyama discussion. Oh no, nonviolent communication. Okay, any more questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, let me close with Kirtan. Thank you to Ekamati. Thank you to Alana today. Great presentations, very thorough. And have a great week. If you have questions throughout the week, please don't be a stranger, okay? Baba Namo Kevalam, 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 Baba Nam 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 Kevalam. Baba Nam Kevalam, Baba Nam Kevalam, Baba Nam Kevalam, Baba Nam Kevalam, Baba Nam Kevalam. Okay. Namaskar. Have a good night.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you.